Hi guys, it's Erica with Copperseal. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about all things auctions. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be focusing on the live auctions or in-person auctions, but I also want to mention that there are online auctions, and there are so many things to consider when you are bidding at an online auction. If you're interested in that, leave a comment and I'll make a video. But for today, let's get into live auctions. And this video is going to be all about things that you should know before you go to your local auction. I'm going to be talking about house rules, kind of do's and don'ts, things that you can do before you're actually at the auction to be prepared and set yourself up for success to win what you want. Let's assume that you've located a nearby auction and you're free to go when they're having the auction. What do you need to do before you actually step foot in that auction? Well, the first thing you need to learn is when they hold the auctions. Different auction houses have different schedules. Some auction houses are only doing an auction twice a month or once a month. Some auctions are more frequent, and it really just depends on the auction itself. So make sure you're looking up the schedule. And then once you figure out the frequency of how often they do auctions, you're gonna wanna look at the schedule of the actual auction itself. The auction by me has two auctions kind of happening simultaneously. There's what they call the front room, which is where they put all of the furniture and nicer objects and the silver. And then they have a back room, which is where they sell off a lot of the more common items, even though they do put a few sleepers in there to get you in the back room. And so what you want to do before going to your auction is kind of getting a lay of the land of how many auctions are happening at once and what the schedule is. Most auction houses will tell you a start time. They'll tell you a doors open time of how early you can get in there and look around. And if there are any other auctions happening, they'll let you know what that time is. And they might also let you know, hey, we're gonna start the furniture or the big items at this time, or we're gonna start the silver or the silver cases at this time. So depending on what you like to bid on and what you're looking for, make sure that you check out the schedule. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do before you go to your local auction is see the photos of the items that are being put up for bid. Most auction houses will either have a Facebook page or their own website where they're going to be posting pics of anything and everything that you're going to be able to get at that auction beforehand, because they want to build excitement. They want people to know, hey, if you collect Pyrex, if you collect Spode, if you collect this or that, we have it at this auction. So it's of the auction's best interest to post photos. And most of them are fairly active on social media too, or you can get in contact with them directly if you have any question about anything. So let's say they post a picture of, I don't know, a Victorian doll and you want to ask specific questions. More often than not, they can answer any questions that you have leading up to the auction before you even step foot. But looking at the pictures of what's going to be put up for auction is really important because it gives you a chance to, one, figure out what things you want to either go and take a closer look at when you arrive at the auction, what things you definitely want to bid on, and it also tells you the kind of general location of those items too. And that's really helpful because an auction can go from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night. It takes a long time for those auctioneers to go table by table, section by section, and auction things off. So let's say there's something that you're interested in that is at a part of the auction that they're not going to even get to until 6 o'clock at night. That might help you with scheduling, so you don't have to just wait around for hours and hours. Even though waiting around at an auction is entertainment and it's fun to see what people bid on and what people win, but that might help you kind of gauge what time makes the most sense for you. The only tricky thing about that is sometimes auctioneers move faster through things and sometimes they move even slower through things. So I personally don't really take the risk of trying to figure out around what time they're going to be bidding off an item that I'm really interested in. I just go when it starts and I just make it a full experience. The last thing I would say before you go to an auction is to really read up on the house rules. Now, every auction house is going to have a different set of rules, but for my auction especially, there are a few things to really keep in mind. The first thing is that all sales are going to be final. So it is really up to you as the bidder to thoroughly inspect the items before they start bidding and make sure that you really do want that item if you're going to bid on it, because there are no refunds and no returns. The second thing is more of a common courtesy, which is that you're not allowed to move things from where they are in the auction house. You can pick them up gently, even though I would recommend against that as much as possible because you don't want to risk breaking something. But you can't take an item and go show it to your friend or move it to another table because those items are arranged with a purpose within that auction house. So they're going to arrange items based on lots, which is basically a grouping of items that are either coming from the same person who sent those items to auction. And you don't want to confuse items between lots because what will happen is if you win an item and it's not where it should be and it gets confused as to what lot it's part of, someone else might get the profit from the item versus who it's intended to go to. So you just don't want to move items. You can kind of pick something up and take a look and put it right back where it is. Even within the table, don't pick something up over here and put it back over there. It's just going to cause chaos, and it's common courtesy to not do that. All right, the last thing that I want to talk about is you are responsible for the items after you win them. So let's say you bid on a pair of chairs and you won that pair of chairs. Congratulations. The thing you need to be careful of now is that it is now completely your responsibility to take those pair of chairs and put them somewhere safe while the auction continues to go on. Unfortunately, this is a reality of auctions. Things go missing. People can, while you're not looking, take an item back to their truck or their car. And unfortunately, this is just the nature of having a bunch of people in the same place who are vying after the same items. I wouldn't say that this is like a cutthroat situation where as soon as you win something, you've got to race back to your car and be really secretive about it. But don't just win something and just leave it there and not look at it for the rest of the night. What I like to do is bring a box or a bag with me, and as I'm winning smaller items, I'll put those on my person in the bag or box. And that way, when there is a natural break between lots that I want to bid on, if there are a few tables that are coming up that I have no interest of with those items, I'll take a break and I'll lug everything to my car, secure it safely, and then come back to the auction. Oh, the last thing I'll also say about auctions before you go is understand that when you're bidding on an item, let's say you end up being the top bidder on a vase and the top bid was $25. You're not going to pay just $25 and walk out the auction house with that vase. On top of the price of your winning bid, you've got to pay what's called a buyer's premium, which is the percentage that the auction house takes, kind of their cut of that high bid, and you have to pay sales tax. With my auction, there's a 15% buyer's premium and there's an 7 or 8% sales tax on top of that. So I have to know when I'm bidding that whatever I'm comfortable with being my highest bid, I have to be okay with paying 23% more than that highest bid because that's what's going to come out of my pocket by the end of the night. All right, y'all, I hope this video has been incredibly helpful. If you're thinking about going to your local auction, these are things that you absolutely should know. And again, the caveat to all of this is that every auction house does things a little differently. So please, when you figure out what local auction you're going to be going to, go to their website, contact them if you have to, make sure you understand the house rules. And thanks for watching.